Today we're making homemade biscuits. Homemade biscuits are actually very simple to make. This recipe creates a buttery biscuit that works great as a breakfast sandwich, chicken sandwich, covered with gravy, or just eaten plain. There is also a lot of variation in how you make them. If you are vegan, you can replace the milk in this recipe with unsweetened oat or almond milk, and the butter with a dairy-free butter. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna add in to a mixer or just a bowl. You can use a whisk. We're just gonna add 2 cups of flour. Then we'll add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and about a teaspoon of salt. And now we just mix all this together. A very important step to making biscuits is really cold butter. I like to keep it in the freezer. This is rock hard. I'll show you what we're gonna do with it. So we're gonna take our frozen butter and a box grater. We're gonna shred this up. We need about 6 tablespoons. This is 8 tablespoons, but that gives you a little bit of a handle here. Now we're just gonna shred. And the cold butter does allow for a more kind of flaky biscuit. And by shredding it up, it distributes it much better. Highly recommend this step. You will notice a difference. Now we're just gonna make sure we get as much of this butter out of here as we can. If it's cold enough, it should come out pretty easy. We're just gonna mix this in. And I like to do a little bit at a time here. Sorry if the camera angle's not great. I'm working solo today. Now we're just gonna mix this until it kind of becomes like a breadcrumby texture. So this is about the texture you're looking for. Now we're gonna add 3/4 cups of milk. You do have some options here. I'm using whole milk. Some people prefer buttermilk biscuits, use buttermilk. You can also use almond milk, oat milk if you're trying to do a vegan biscuit, but we're gonna use just regular whole milk for right now. Unfortunately, I forgot to hit record here. But what you're gonna do is put your mixer on the slowest setting, slowly pour in your milk, and in about 5 to 10 seconds, it should form into a dough. Don't over mix here. As soon as it forms a dough, you're good. So we're gonna get some flour out on our counter. I'd recommend wearing an apron here. Obviously, I am not doing that, but I should have. All right, I'm just gonna take our dough. Now this dough is pretty sticky, so we're just gonna flip it over in here. If it's too sticky and you can't work with it, you just wanna add more flour and just kind of work it in right now. And now we're just gonna fold it over. So, fold it like that, press it out. So it's about, I don't know, about an inch or so, about that thick. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it over again, press it out again. You don't want to press too hard, and if you come across more sticky bits, just add more flour. Once you've done that about 6 times, you should have nice layered dough here. Take something about this diameter. I don't know what that is, maybe 3 or 4 inches. Get it in the flour a little bit. Just gonna press down. And then we'll set this aside on a tray, just a baking sheet with parchment paper on it. We'll do another one. All right, now we have all this leftover dough. We can get more out of here. So these ones sometimes are a little wonkier, but they still taste great. And out of this recipe, you should get at least 6. Sometimes you can even get a 7th one out of here, which I think we're gonna get. We are, look at that. Another thing you can do if you have some leftover, this makes a great scone as well. A little cheese in there. You can also add fruit, whatever you wanna do. Now we've got all of our biscuits and our weird lumpy scone here in the back. Now we're gonna throw this in the oven preheated at 425 for about 10 to 12 minutes. So here is our biscuits. It was just about 10.5 minutes. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some melted butter and brush it on top. So I'm using salted butter this time. Unsalted when you're making them, and then we'll use salted on the top here. And this is optional, you don't need to do this, but just adds a little more of that buttery flavor. And now we're just gonna place them on a cooling rack. All right, let's try this. So, as you can see, the inside, it's flaky, a little crumbly, but not so crumbly that it's gonna fall apart when you make a breakfast sandwich. We're just gonna go simple with it, and I'm just gonna put a little hot honey on it. It's buttery, it's soft. These are excellent as a breakfast sandwich. They're great with gravy on them. My favorite thing to do with these though, is you go to the cornflake chicken recipe that we did a while back. Make those cornflake chicken fingers, put some hot honey on them, maybe a pickle slice or two, put that on one of these biscuits. It is amazing. Look at all the layers in there, the textures, the flakiness. And you can see, despite being kind of crumbly and flaky, holding its shape. So if you put eggs, bacon, cheese on this, sausage, whatever you do for breakfast, it's gonna hold its shape for the most part, as long as you cook it enough. So I highly recommend you make this. Let me know what you think. And if you like this kind of video, like and subscribe, and we'll have a new one for you each week. It's just nothing beats homemade.